Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jay Cohn.
And I'm Jeanelle Slade. A beautiful spring day in the Magic City gets more people out, but it also means more potential for dangerous, even deadly accidents on city streets.
That's right, not one but two injury accidents today involving vehicles and cyclists. Billings Police reminding motorists to share the road.
Billings Police responded just before noon today to the first accident in West Billings.
This accident happened out on King Avenue West and Feather Place near the Golden Meadows Mobile Home Park around 11:20 this morning. Now, police say the cyclist was heading in the wrong direction against the flow of traffic when he was hit by the car. The police crime scene van was at that accident scene until mid-afternoon.
Now, police tell us the male bicyclist was awake and breathing but suffered serious injuries and was taken to the hospital in an ambulance. The driver of the car was not injured.
And just about an hour ago, another person rushed to the hospital in town after a motorcycle collided with a vehicle. This crash at the intersection of Yellowstone River Road and Bitterroot Drive.
Now, police say a man in his 30s was heading west, exiting Cherry Creek, but ignored traffic signals and struck an SUV heading east on Yellowstone River Road. Now, speed is believed to be a factor in this crash.
Now, police say fortunately the man's injuries in that crash are not life-threatening.
Well, today's accidents are what police see every year at this time because with more cyclists and drivers on the roadways.
Q2's David Jay talked with a police officer in Billings today to bring us all some timely reminders. David.
Well, Jay, Jeanelle, police say these types of crashes, drivers did not often see the bike rider. This time of year, as the weather gets warmer, police say there are more bicyclists, pedestrians, and motorcyclists out there. Officer Tom Keatley reminds us that drivers and bicyclists need to be more aware, and drivers should give bicyclists a little more room. He also says bicyclists can wear some more visible clothing and not wear earbuds or hoodies. And Keatley has some safety advice for people riding bicycles.
First of all, they need to recognize that a vehicle may not see them. Even though you think they should be able to, they may not be aware that you're there. So you have to be very defensive in riding. The other thing is you want to give yourself, just like if you're driving a car, you want to give yourself a buffer, an escape path, if you will, so that if something goes wrong, if some motorist doesn't see you, you've got somewhere to go.
And of course, Officer Keatley also recommends wearing a helmet and says that bicycles on sidewalks can be dangerous for pedestrians. Jeanelle, Jay?
All right. Thank you, David.
Well, the main budget bill for the Montana state government is sailing through the 2019 legislature at a record pace. It won endorsement by the full Senate today.
But as MTN's Mike Dennison reports tonight, some spending priorities and other pieces of the budget have yet to be worked out.
On a bipartisan 27-22 vote, the state Senate advanced House Bill 2, which is the pillar of Montana's $10 billion two-year budget.
It funds our schools, keeps the schools open, keeps prisons closed, and it keeps the snowplows running on time. That's what it does.
The only lengthy floor debate came over money for assisted living homes, which say without higher reimbursement rates, they often can't accept more state-funded residents. Republican Senator Bob Keenan of Bigfort proposed an amendment to raise those rates, so these elderly in need of help could avoid going to a more expensive nursing home.
The facilities that provide these services cannot afford at $95 a day to take care of these elderly, Medicaid-eligible Montana folks. So they end up being put into nursing homes at $202 a day.
His amendment lost on a 23-24 vote, with 9 Democrats and 14 Republicans opposing it. Another similar amendment failed, but Republican Senate Majority Leader Fred Thomas promised a special effort will be made to insert the funding in a separate bill. It's possible that House Bill 2 could be sent to Governor Steve Bullock in its current form, but Democratic leaders and the governor himself say the budget debate at the 2019 legislature is far from over.
If we think that the game's over, if House Bill 2 gets to my desk, no, the legislature still has a heck of a lot of work to do because we've got to pay for the government that people expect.
On the Senate floor Thursday, Minority Leader John Sesso of Butte brandished a list of scores of bills still alive that spend money or hand out tax credits and cuts. He said many are sponsored by majority Republicans, and if the budget is to balance, a lot of them must die.
And we've got to be vigilant in these next couple weeks to make sure that all our bases are covered and that we keep this budget in the black, we keep it balanced.
We also have some other big money issues to settle, like Medicaid expansion and infrastructure. And a few tax increases may be in the mix as lawmakers reach the budget finish line. At the Capitol, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
All right. Thanks so much, Mike.
And Mike tells us tomorrow also promises to be a busy day at the Capitol. That's when Senate committees will take up both the Medicaid expansion and infrastructure bills.
Well, many of Montana's farmers and ranchers breathing a sigh of relief today after President Trump backs off his threat to shut down the U.S.-Mexico border this week.
We're going to give them a 1-year warning. And if the drugs don't stop or largely stop, we're going to put tariffs on Mexico and products.
The president announced this morning he would give Mexico a 1-year warning before he takes that kind of action. Now, Trump initially said he would close the border immediately if Mexico didn't halt illegal immigration. Now, that statement causing those who rely on trade with the country some major concern. As we reported earlier this week, Mexico is an important trade partner for Montana farmers and ranchers, buying many products that other Americans don't. Now, area farmers say they would be concerned about any disruption to trade.
The Montana Highway Patrol investigating a fatality near Alzada, which is in the far southeast corner of the state, but very little information being released as to exactly what happened. Now, what we do know is the report of a crash came in just after 6 this morning on Highway 212 just outside of Alzada. A trooper on scene confirms there was one fatality, but authorities are still unsure if the crash caused that death. The entire incident remains under investigation tonight.
The man accused in a 2005 plot to kidnap David Letterman's son has been arrested again in Helena. The Lewis and Clark County jail roster shows Kelly Frank was booked into jail Wednesday. Court records show Frank was cited for misdemeanor assault for an incident that allegedly occurred on March 23rd. According to the citation by Helena police, Frank is accused of following a man to his vehicle and threatening to kill him. The 2005 kidnap-related charges were ultimately dismissed, but Frank was sentenced to 10 years in prison for another incident involving David Letterman. Frank escaped from the state prison in June 2007, was recaptured 6 days later, and sentenced to an extra 10 years. Now, he is currently on parole and under Department of Corrections supervision until 2025.
Up next on tonight's 5:30 News, we'll meet a young girl who's donning 2 hats, both a warrior and a princess, as she fights brain cancer.
And in sports, Montana State names a new men's basketball coach. Scott delivers details on Danny Sprinkle.
And coming up in weather, we're going to get very close to 70 degrees tomorrow, but then after that, we're going to see those temperatures roll back. We start a new weather pattern, one that has cooler temps and wetter weather. Join us for a few more minutes.
You're watching MTN News with Jeanelle Slade and Russ Riesinger. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Breen. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.